everybody, my name is Jack and welcome back to my channel Genius Speaking, where I teach Italian language for free. Welcome back for a brand new lesson. First thing, I have to make an apology because I've been silent for weeks. That because I had to travel for business. What am I doing for living? Pretty cool, huh? But okay, let's get back in topic, because while I was flying, I didn't waste time sleeping because I've prepared this very lesson. In the previous importance lesson, the first actually of 2023, I linked down in the description the link of that video. I taught you how to make Italian simple sentences. Simple sentences, for who did not yet watch the video, are actually very small and basic sentences made by only two parts, a subject and a verb. The subject does the action and the verb expresses what action has been done by the subject. Now it is time to add something to those simple sentences, because yes, those kind of sentences are very simple, basic. It can actually drag you out of troubles if you travel in Italy and you want to express simple concepts. However, you cannot consider yourself fluent in Italian language if you cannot make more complex sentences. So my goal is to teach you to move from simple sentences to more complex thoughts. The first step is by following this very lesson and subscribing to my channel, of course. So our final goal is to add a series of complements. Complements, as the word says, are logical parts of the sentence. Their purpose is to add more details to the simple sentence. But before starting to talk about complements, I thought it is needed to clarify something about the very verbs, especially from the logic point of view. In fact, a logic analysis of the sentence allows us to divide the different components of a very phrase, to identify subject, verb, complements, but also identify transitive, intransitive verbs, active, passive forms, the direct objects, and etc., etc., etc. It is important because once you can identify the different components of a sentence, it is easier to grasp the meaning of the phrases you hear in Italian language. Let's start to understand better verbs. In Italian language, verbs can mainly be divided into two different categories. The first one is made by verbi copulativi, and the second one is made by verbi predicativi. The main difference is that i verbi copulativi devono per forza legarsi ad un nome o ad un aggettivo per avere senso. Un esempio sono i verbi essere e avere. In the following example, Jack is, Jack è. I can use the verb to be, but something it is missing. The verb to be acts as copula because it needs something additional. Jack is what? He's cool. So we add an adjective. Jack è fico. The adjective cool, fico, so, is called, predicato nominale del soggetto. By the other hand, we can have a vast majority of verbi predicativi. Verbi predicativi perché possono esistere senza l'aggiunta di altri componenti. I verbi predicativi sono quindi dotati di senso compiuto. Therefore, the vast majority of verbs used in everyday language can be considered belonging to verbi predicativi. However, among verbi predicativi, we can make a further distinction into other subcategories, if we can call that way, because belonging to the category of predicative verbs, verbi predicativi, we can find transitive verbs or intransitive verbs. This particular distinction is fundamental to understand how complement works. Luckily, the rules of English language are almost identical to Italian language. I verbi transitivi vengono chiamati in questo modo perché trasferiscono l'azione dal soggetto a un altro oggetto. Transitive verbs, in fact, they need a complement to exist. Often, what is called a direct object. In Italian, translated with complemento oggetto. Why it is important, the direct object or complemento oggetto? It is important because it is actually the object to which the action has been transferred by a transitive verb. The direct object answers to the questions who, what. Okay. Let's just take a solid example to explain better the difference between transitive and intransitive verbs. In Italian language, as in English, some verbs are purely transitive, like the verb to be or the verb to have, because they need something to transfer the action on. Other verbs, although, can be present in both forms. A verb can be used as transitive or intransitive verb. Let's take, for example, the verb to play an instrument. Suonare in Italian. Jack plays. Jack suona. This is the very basic and simple sentence. However, it does not tell additional informations. Jack plays, but the sentence is obviously incomplete. We can use the verb to play, suonare, in its transitive mode. Jack plays guitar. Jack suona la chitarra. Because the complement guitar, chitarra, answers to the question what. Jack plays what? The guitar. Flawless logic. However, we can use the same very verb to play an instrument, to play, in its intransitive mode. Like in the following example, Jack plays in the house. Jack suona in casa. In this last example, we don't have a direct object because in the house does not answer to the question what, who, therefore is not a direct object, but it is another kind of complement. In this very specific case, it is called complement of place. Da qui deriva un'importante caratteristica dei complementi nella lingua italiana. Infatti possiamo definire il complemento oggetto come un complemento diretto. Il complemento oggetto, così come il complemento predicativo e il complemento nominativo, sono chiamati diretti perché non c'è nessuna preposizione che connette il verbo al complemento. In fact, in the example, Jack plays guitar, Jack suona la chitarra, guitar has the article before, but no preposition. That's the meaning of a direct complement. In italiano, tutti gli altri complementi che non sono il complemento oggetto vengono quindi definiti complementi indiretti, perché spesso necessitano di una preposizione che lega verbo e complemento. Like in the example, Jack plays in the house. In the house, in casa, has a preposition in. Its purpose is therefore to connect the verb to play, suonare, with the following complements. Okay, so the last part of this video will be about some exercises, because it is, yes, important to know theory, to know grammar rules, but it is also important to test the knowledge you just acquired through real cases examples. First, let's take some intransitive verbs, meaning they do not sustain a direct object. Some examples of intransitive verbs are the following: ridere, to laugh; vivere, to live; cadere, to fall; correre, to run. Those verbs do not accept any direct object after. The only complements we can add to those intransitive verbs are indirect complements, complements bounded to the verb by preposition. Jack ride da solo. Jack laughs by himself. Jack ride da solo. The complement is bounded by preposition, da. Jack vive in Italia. Jack lives in Italy. Jack cade dalla bicicletta. Jack falls from the bicycle. Again, we don't have a direct object, but we have a complement that comes after a preposition. Dalla, da plus la. Jack corre a casa. Jack runs to home. Again, indirect complements, meaning complements that have a preposition that bounds the verb to the complement itself. By the other hand, although we can list a series of transitive verbs or verbs used in their transitive mode, like leggere, to read; guidare, to drive; insegnare, to teach; mangiare, to eat; bere, to drink; salutare, to say hello, or better, to greet. Those verbs often are used in transitive mode, meaning they support a direct object coming after. Jack legge un libro. Jack reads what? A book. Jack insegna l'italiano. Jack teaches what? Italian. Jack greets who? His new subscribers. If you are among the subscribers, great, good for you. If you're not, please hit the like button and subscribe. It takes zero effort and it means a lot to support my work. But going back in topic, in all the previous examples, all the verbs can sustain the question what or who. Therefore, after comes a direct object, a complement which is defined direct, meaning it could be an article, between the verb and the complement, but never a preposition. I know, what are you thinking? Which are the main kind of complements you can find in Italian language? Well, you have to wait for the next week. I promise I will upload very soon a complete compendium about the main kind of complements used in Italian language, how to spot them, how to use them in order to expand the simple sentences and create more complex phrases. Ladies and gentlemen, class is dismissed. Remember, please watch my other lessons, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done, but most importantly, of course, stay tuned for more content coming, and remember, speak like a genius. Bye bye!